precisely 1:15. This is the news on Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News is edited by Dulmin Samarasinghe and read by Sabrina Zawahir. The headlines. Test report into the samples taken from 2 gas companies is expected this afternoon. Sri Lanka expects to earn $5 billion by exporting plantation crops in next 2 years. Cinnamon exports increased by 25%. Sri Lanka is becoming a hub for Thai manufacturing industries. Foreign travellers from 6 African countries banned. And in world news, new COVID variant classed of concern and named Omicron. And in sports, Formula One renews its deal with the Spanish Grand Prix until 2026. Now the local news in detail. State Minister Lasantha Alagiyawanna says that the test report into the samples taken from 2 gas companies in connection with explosions is scheduled to be received this afternoon. He was replying to a question from opposition leader Sajith Premadasa in Parliament today. The State Minister said Petroleum Corporation and Intech Institute are testing the samples. He said all related details will be tabled in Parliament on Monday. Speaking at the debate, the opposition leader said people are having doubts about the safety of domestic gas cylinders. Minister Dr. Ramesh Patharana says Sri Lanka expects to earn $5 billion by exporting plantation crops in next 2 years. Today is the 5th day of the committee stage budget debate in Parliament. He mentioned this commencing the debate on behalf of the government. Expenditure accounts of the Ministries of Plantations, Land Development and related state ministries are debated today. Minister Patharana further said an income of $1 billion is expected from rubber-related products this year. He said Sri Lanka is becoming a hub for Thai manufacturing industries. The minister said cinnamon exports have increased by 25%. He added that organic fertilizer will be given on concessionary terms from January. MP Jayanthakana Tilaka said tea, coconut and rubber planters face difficulties due to the ban on chemical fertilizer. He said this led to a huge income loss from the tea industry. He further said information at Land Data Bank and Land Acquisition Act should be updated. State Minister Vijitha Beragoda said 2,000 acres in the Munaragala district have been newly cultivated with rubber. MP Professor Harin Amarasuriya said cultivation of forest lands violates environmental policy. This news is brought to you by Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Continuing local news, Governor of the Central Bank Ajit Niwad Cabral says the opposition is urging the government to get loans from the International Monetary Fund with an understanding of the crisis that could occur in the country after taking loans. He said when obtaining loans from the IMF, several measures have to be taken as to cutting off pensions, abolishing samurdhi and other allowances. Mr. Cabral pointed out that the opposition has not been able to put forward any realistic proposal for the benefit of the country. Secretary to the Ministry of Plantations, Ravindra Heva Pathirana says this year's budget has allocated more funds to all sectors when compared with previous years. He told SLBC that several new programs are taking place to revive the tea industry. He pointed out correct technology should be used to replant tea and for its nutrition aspects. With that, we conclude the local news. The main news story follows.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
State Minister Professor Channa Jasamana says government has decided to bring down 3 million Pfizer vaccine doses per week from the beginning of next month. He said the interest shown by the people to get vaccines is at a satisfactory level. He further said it is important for the public to follow health guidelines although a vaccine is received. That was our main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
Watch Life is brought to you by
Tertiary and Vocational Education Commission.
Sri Lanka has decided to ban the arrival of foreign travellers who have been to 6 countries in the African continent as the newly detected highly mutated COVID-19 variant of concern, Omicron, sparked serious global concerns. Civil aviation authorities said passengers with a travel history to South Africa, Namibia, Zimbabwe, Botswana, Lesotho and Eswatini within the last 14 days will not be allowed to entry into the country. Anyone who arrived from those countries is urged to undergo quarantine. That came to you in Watchlight.
Please be aware on institutes, registration and accreditation when you are selecting vocational courses which leads to achieve your future career goals. Do not waste your valuable time and money. Confirm institutes, registration and accreditation by TVEC. For more information, visit nearest District Divisional Secretariat offices and meet career guidance practitioners or skill development officers. Message from Tertiary and Vocational Education Commission.
Coming up, World News.
The headlines of the World News: new COVID variant classed of concern and named Omicron. The US joins EU in restricting flights from Southern Africa over new coronavirus variant. Musical theatre icon Stephen Sondheim dies. Now the World News in detail. The World Health Organization has declared a new coronavirus variant to be of concern and named it Omicron. The WHO said it had a large number of mutations and early evidence suggested an increased reinfection risk. It was the first reported to the WHO from South Africa on 24th November and has also been identified in Botswana, Belgium, Hong Kong and Israel. A number of countries have now decided to ban or restrict travel to and from Southern Africa. The US will restrict travel from South Africa and 7 other Southern African countries to try to contain a new coronavirus variant spreading there. From Monday, only US citizens and residents will be allowed to travel from the region. This follows a similar flight ban imposed by the EU and the UK. Canada is also introducing travel restrictions. President Joe Biden called the move as a precautionary measure taken until more is known about the variant. Legendary US composer and songwriter Stephen Sondheim has died, aged 91. His lawyer told the New York Times that Sondheim passed away yesterday at his home in Roxbury, Connecticut. He was a titan of musical theatre who turned the unliked of subjects into entertainment landmarks. He wrote the scores of some of the Broadway's best-known shows, including Company, Follies, and A Little Night Music. Sondheim is also written a lot of lyrics for the West Side Story. That ends World News. Prior to concluding the headlines of the World News once again. New COVID variant classed of concern and named Omicron. The US joins EU in restricting flights from Southern Africa over new coronavirus variant. Musical theatre icon Stephen Sondheim dies. With that, we conclude the World News.
Development News is brought to you by Let's take coal out of the coconut tree and make the island thriving and prosperous. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
Ceylon Petroleum Storage Terminals Limited has introduced drone technology to the petroleum industry for the first time in Sri Lanka. While introducing the new system, CPSTL Chairman and Managing Director M. Uwais Mohammed said this technology has been designed in line with the company's effort to modernize its operations as well as the massive infrastructure development projects it is engaged in. That was Development News.
Development News was brought to you by the coconut tree is well grown in almost all the parts of the island. It is an exceptional source of extra income. The shell, the husk and almost all the parts of the coconut tree makes you money, providing you with an excellent extra source of income. It will also help to nourish the economy of the country. You will be guided with all necessary informations regarding the coconut cultivation, with the novel cultivation techniques and all other related and upgraded informations by the Coconut Research Institute, Lunavilla. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
Moving on with sports news.
The Spanish Grand Prix has signed a new contract to remain on the Formula One calendar at the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya until 2026. The organisers have agreed to upgrade the racetrack and facilities in time for next year's Grand Prix on 22nd May. It will be the sixth race on the record 23 Grand Prix schedule. The new contract contains a commitment to ensure that the track becomes a model and world benchmark of sustainability. Taking a look at cricket, today is the third day of the first test between India and New Zealand at Kanpur. India scored 345 in their first innings. New Zealand was 197 for 2 wickets at lunch today. And the first test between Bangladesh and Pakistan is underway for the second day at Chattogram. Batting first, Bangladesh was all out for 330 in their first innings. That ends Sports News.
Cash through NSB globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to September 30th, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency through NSB U Trust for 6 months consecutively. Send more money and increase the chances of winning.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Having recorded a post-tax profit of 53 billion rupees, LOLC retains the number one spot in the 28th edition of the LMD 100 as Sri Lanka's most profitable listed company in 2020 and 21. LOLC, Sri Lanka's most valuable and globally diversified financial conglomerate, shattered the corporate profit records in Sri Lanka for the 2020 and 21 financial year by achieving unprecedented bottom line results of 57 billion rupees in profit before tax. That ends Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Cash through NSB globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSB Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners.
Taking a look at the economic news, a group of coffee industry stakeholders recently joined forces to establish the Lanka Coffee Association, Sri Lanka's first ever national coffee association. The LCA is housed under the Sri Lanka Agripreneur Forum. The LCA represents the collective interests of all stakeholders working towards developing Sri Lanka's coffee industry to reach new heights. The initiative was supported by the Market Development Facility, which is Australia's flagship private sector development program. That ends Economic News.
Weather Report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, brings Nanasa app, a trilingual educational mobile app for online learning. With video-based lessons from grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with the Nanasa app. No subscription fees. Download via Google Play Store, App Store, Huawei Store or Windows. Dialogue, the future today.
Finally, it's a look at the weather report. Met Department says atmospheric conditions are favourable for the formation of afternoon thunder showers over the most parts of the island. Fairly heavy showers above 75 millimetres may occur at some places in the western, Sabaragamuwa, central and Uva provinces and in the Galle and Matara districts. Showers may also occur in the northern and eastern provinces. That was the weather report.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, brings Nanasa app, a trilingual educational mobile app for online learning. With video-based lessons from grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with the Nanasa app. No subscription fees. Download via Google Play Store, App Store, Huawei Store or Windows. Dialogue, the future today.
Prior to concluding this bulletin of news, the headlines once again. Test report into the samples taken from 2 gas companies is expected this afternoon. Sri Lanka expects to earn $5 billion by exporting plantation crops in next 2 years. Cinnamon exports increased by 25%. Sri Lanka is becoming a hub for tyre manufacturing industries. Foreign travellers from 6 African countries banned.